everyone, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, my name is Gina and I make videos about houseplants and houseplant related content. So if that sounds interesting to you, you should hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. So today's video is, drum roll, all about Hoyas. It's actually been quite a while since I've talked about Hoyas, which is funny because Hoyas are the most plants that I have in my collection. So you would think I would talk about them all the time, but I guess I like to take breaks in between. So in my collection I have quite a bit of variety. I would say my collection is mostly made up of small leaf Hoyas, but I do have some larger leaf Hoyas. And that's actually what we're going to talk about today, my large leaf Hoyas. So most of my large leaf Hoyas are right here behind me, but there are a few that I will have to go get because they're large and I don't have the space here for them, and they're large and they're just not as easy to move around. So I will individually grab those for you to see. So for now, we're going to go through this table right here, and I'll tell you a little bit about each of my Hoyas, and let's get started. All right, so first up, because it's right here and very convenient, and I love it, this is the Hoya Verticillata Variegata. And it's really pretty. Now this actually, I consider this one more of a medium size leaf because you can see it's not that big, but I'm including it with this large leaf collection because I have so many small leaf collections, not as many large leaf collections, so we're gonna call it a large leaf Hoya today. But isn't it pretty? And I picked this one up off of Etsy, and I don't remember what I paid for it. I remember when I was looking for them, they were pretty expensive, so I waited a while, so I'm pretty sure I got a pretty decent price on this one. Isn't it cute? This next plant is Hoya Caudata Sumatra, and this plant used to be a much bigger plant, but I did propagate it a few times and then it tried to die on me at one point, so I had to reroot this plant, and then finally it's happy again. I put it into pon and it's doing really well, and this is the most recent leaf and it's just so pretty and large. And so now at this point it's getting pretty long, so I'm thinking I'm going to have to put it into a bigger pot and then give it a trellis. So that's the next step with this one. But it's just so pretty. So this next plant is the Hoya melliflua. And this one has some interesting kind of long pointy leaves. And to be honest, this plant has been a little bit boring to me. It hasn't flowered for me yet, so maybe the flowers will be pretty and exciting, but so far this is just, I mean, it's nice, but it has no pattern. It's solid green and there's not really any texture to it, so it's just kind of there. You know, it's nice. Here's one of its largest leaves. So that's Hoya melliflua. All right, next up we have Hoya Callistophylla. And I will never call this plant boring because look at those leaves. They're just so prehistoric looking to me, and they look lizardy or something to me, and they're very cool, I think. And this one, you can see here, it's gonna bloom, and this one has been blooming all summer long from this peduncle, and then there's another one down here that I'm getting blooms from, and I love this plant. So that's Hoya Callistophylla. All right, so the next one I have is Hoya Viola. This is one of my larger ones, and this one used to live in my bedroom, and it outgrew the space. So I trellised it because it wasn't trellised before. And I just recently, within like the last week or two, put it on the trellis, and I think it just looks so cute that way. And it has more room to grow, and my next thing will be to probably repot this because it is a pretty shallow pot, but so far I'm not seeing any like roots coming out the bottom, so I think it's okay. I think I'll probably work on it next summer. So it should be good through the winter. But that's Hoya Viola, those pretty big leaves. All right, next up we have another pretty big one. This is Hoya Quinquenervia. And I had to extend the trellis for this one. And I recently kind of did my best to wrap it around because this one was trailing up into my Hoya Obovata, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. But it was like winding itself into the Obovata, and I was kind of over that and decided I was gonna just give it its own place. So actually for this video, because I wanted to take that Obovata down to show you guys, and I couldn't because this was wrapped in it. So yeah, that's why I did this. So the Quinquenervia is one of my very favorites. And I love, the reason I like it so much is it just has these beautiful, like super glossy leaves. You see how shiny those are? And they're soft, and they're textured, and they're patterned, and they're just, I love everything about this one. So it's given me tons of new growth this summer. All of this is new up here. This is a new leaf. Some down here are new, and there's some tiny little leaves on the way here. So I'm a big fan of this one. That's Hoya Quinquenervia. All right, so since we were just talking about the Obovata, I went and grabbed it for you guys. And I tried to get it out of this holder. It hangs in this macrame, and I couldn't get it out. So I just grabbed the whole thing, and we're just gonna have to work with it this way. So this is my Obovata, and it's really heavy, but it is, I just love this plant so much because it has these really cute round leaves and this splash, and it's given me a ton of growth this summer. More leaves on the way, and I've probably had this plant for 2 years, maybe more, maybe almost 3 years. Look how cute it is. I just love it. All right, so now I gotta go put this one away. So cute. Highly recommend Obovata. All right, so speaking of Obovatas, we do have another one here, much smaller and more manageable. And this is my Obovata Variegata. And it's a gorgeous plant. I think I've said before, this pattern just makes me think of a galaxy. It looks like outer space. And it's so pretty. And this used to be in my bedroom, but it outgrew the space there, so I stuck it on this trellis, and now it lives in my office. And I am feeling some roots sticking out of there, so I'll probably have to repot this one before fall. But this is Hoya Obovata Variegata. So this next one is a real fun favorite of mine, and it's currently blooming. So pretty. This is the Hoya Pachyclada, or Pachyclada, I don't know. But I'm sure you can figure out what I'm saying. Such a pretty one. kind of roundish leaves on this one as well. And here's another peduncle. And this morning when I walked into my office, I knew instantly that this one, the blooms had opened, because it just smells like, it's just kind of like jasmine. It's very pretty. So if you don't have this plant, I highly recommend it, not just for its pretty leaves, but for its gorgeous smelling flowers. Next one we have Hoya Kerrii Variegata, or variegated. Hoya Kerrii Variegata, I think that's how it's said, and it's so pretty. And I mentioned in my houseplant tour that this one, I had to propagate it because it was just giving me the ugliest leaves with like the cupping and the browning. And someone mentioned in the comments that they think it could be inconsistent watering causing the issue. I forget what else, maybe not enough light. I'm not sure. But I recently moved this from where it was when it was doing this ugliness, and I put it into my office. So it was in my dining room and it was getting some direct sun. So I'm wondering if maybe the browning is from the sun. I'm not sure. I'm pretty good with watering, so maybe it's just in this terracotta and this really chunky soil mix, it just dries out too quickly. I'm not sure, but I am going to be trying different things to try and get this looking better. But already I think it's hard to see, but this is a newer leaf and it's looking a bit better to me. And let's see, we have 2 more leaves on the way, so we'll see how these 2 look. We'll see if it makes a difference what I'm doing so far. But I really want this plant to do well because I would love to get a giant plant out of this one because I've seen them and they're so gorgeous, and I would love to have that. Here's another new leaf down here too, so we'll see how that leaf looks as well. So far they look good, so I don't know. But hopefully one day it'll be as big as my regular Kerrii, which is back here, and I'm going to grab that one next. This is the variegated version. All right, so I'm going to go grab the Kerrii. This one is what I call a beast. It is so big and heavy and kind of wacky. And wait till you see this. Oh my goodness, it's heavy. All right, I'm not even going to be able to get this in the frame entirely, but here she is. Kind of crazy, huh? So this plant I've had, it's crazy. So I've had her for probably about the same amount of time as I had my Obovata, which is 2 or 3 years. And this one kind of struggled for me in the beginning. I don't think I was giving it enough light, and it just would not grow. It was just like, wasn't doing anything. And then we moved houses. And my new house, this house we're in now, is just so much brighter and it gets so much more light, and it loves it here, just like me. So it sits right back here in my northwest facing window, and it's just constantly pushing out new leaves. Super easy plant. I just let it completely dry out between waterings. Or not completely, because I really don't think it's a good thing to let your Hoyas dry out completely, but I let it get pretty dry before I water it, and I use a moisture meter to figure out when it's time to water this one. And it has bloomed for me this year. Here's a peduncle right here, which I know you're probably not going to be able to see, but it's right here. And it's bloomed a couple times for me this year. Not a real fragrant bloom that I can remember. Yeah, not fragrant, not like the Pachyclada. But it's just I love this plant. And I love it because it loves me. So that's my Hoya Kerrii. Okay, this little show and tell is a workout today. All right, this is my Hoya Macrophylla Albomarginata. And I picked this one up locally, actually in Boulder, Colorado. And it was at a plant shop called Variegata. And I haven't been there since I picked this one up. Or maybe I have been back one time. But I have not bought any more plants there. So this one, actually that's not true. I bought a Peperomia Hope there after I got this one. But anyway, so I picked this one up, brought it home, let it acclimate to the house, and it just wasn't doing very well. It was like the leaves were real, instead of stiff like this, they were real soft. And I know something's up when leaves are soft like that. So I decided to take it out of the little nursery pot. And it turns out that it wasn't just one plant. See how this looks like one plant? It's not just one plant. It was actually cuttings, and the little cuttings were really poorly rooted. And I know it's not the store's fault. I'm sure their supplier gave them the plant this way. But I was extremely disappointed when I looked at, that it was just cuttings and poorly rooted cuttings. So I had to reroot this one, and then I stuck it in this terracotta pot, and then it's taken off for me. It's been doing beautifully since then. So I've got some new leaves on the way here, and it's given me a bunch of new leaves this summer, and I love this plant. It is one of my favorites. So it does have a happy ending. Now, this is the Macrophylla Albomarginata. All right, so next up we have this Hoya Variegata. There's a gnat. I hate gnats. I thought I was getting my gnats under control, and I think I am. I mean, that's pretty rare to see the gnat like that. But I don't like gnats. Anyway, this is my little cutie, Hoya Variegata. Some new leaves coming in. I love the little pink that they get. And I just broke the stem. Oops. But super cute. And what I would consider a larger leaf. Definitely not small leaf. All right, you guys, hopefully you're still with me here. So next we have the Incrassata Albomarginata, and this is a really pretty one. Of course, I haven't been able to get any really pretty leaves like that yet. This is the newest leaf, and you can see it doesn't have the white like that old leaf. This is a leaf I grew in my care. Not quite as pretty as this. I don't know how to get the white like that. I think it's just the luck of the draw, but it's cute. It's a cute large leaf Hoya. Lives in my bedroom, but it's getting so tall that I'm probably gonna have to move it to probably this room over here where it has more space. So, okay. Next up, we have another plant that tried to die on me, and this is my Hoya Australis. And it used to live right here, well, kind of in my dining room here, and I started noticing it was getting some yellow leaves down at the bottom, and at first I thought, well, maybe it's just an old leaf turning yellow, dying off. But then it started getting some additional yellow leaves, and I knew, okay, something's wrong. So I unpotted it, and sure enough, it had some root rot. So I took away all those old roots, and I rerooted it in water, and then I stuck it in this pond, and it is loving this. Look at this new growth. So we saved her and we love her. Okay, this next one, I can't remember the name of, but it will be here on the screen. I can't remember the name. I'm just drawing a blank. But this one, I know that it sun stresses to a beautiful red, so that's what I've been trying to do. And so far, it's kind of getting a little bit red, but it's mostly yellow here. But I think eventually maybe it might get there. But look, it's gonna bloom. It's already blooming. It just hasn't opened up yet. Can't wait for that to happen. All of this is new growth for me this summer. And there's more, which you can't see, but down here there's more leaves coming out, and it's done really well for me this summer. I wish I could remember the name of it, darn it. Of course, I just remembered, it's Obscura. Pretty sure that was Hoya Obscura. All right, next up, it's a little guy. So this is Hoya Fungii, and this was much bigger when I first got it, and I ordered it off of Etsy. And this was another one that tried to die on me with root rot. It didn't ship well. Right from the beginning, it started struggling. So I pulled it out, took off the roots, water rooted it. No, actually I didn't water rooted it. I just put it in this sphagnum moss, and it's grown this new leaf for me. So it's happy. I should look at the roots just to see. Happy roots. So I could probably pot this one up. But it's a pretty cute one. Actually, when I first opened it, it was the pictures I had seen of fungi. It looked better in photos, not this particular plant, but just in general, other fungi. I thought they looked so much nicer than what it looks like in person. I don't know, I'm not impressed with this one, but maybe as it gets older, as it gets bigger, maybe it'll become more impressive. But so far I love it, but I don't love it. So that's Hoya Fungii. All right, so we managed to clear out this space, and now I have to go grab my big plants. So let's do that. All right, so we're gonna go get this one. And this is a big one. This is my Hoya Crimson Queen. And it's heavy, and it's long, and it's gorgeous. Ugh, and it's heavy. All right, so like I said, this is my Hoya Crimson Queen. And you know it's the queen because it has the lighter color on the margins. And if it's a princess, it has the lighter color in the center of the leaf. So I'm sure you knew that. Everybody, I think, knows that, or most people know that. And if you didn't know that, now you know that. So I've had this plant for quite a long time. It was actually, I got it at Lowe's, and I got like 3 little, there were 4-inch pots of this. I picked up 3 of them, and I put them all into this one pot. So this is 3 plants in one pot. And it used to be on a trellis, and it was in my bedroom, but I was kind of getting tired of the look of it on the trellis. And in fact, I even tried putting it on my new trellis with my syngoniums, but it was just so big and it kind of overpowered that wall, and I didn't like the way it looked, so off it came. But I do like it better without the old trellis that it used to have. I like the trailing look of it, and I think it just looks so pretty up on my china cabinet, and it has plenty of room to trail down because that's up so high. So, and I think it's gonna like it there. I just actually moved it up there. So, but I think it's gonna adjust well to that. it gets very bright light here. That's a southwest facing window, and it does get a little bit of direct sun. So it's just so pretty. And my favorite are these pink leaves down here. Look at this. It's just gorgeous. I just love it. Look at that little spot of green. It's just, I love it. It's my Hoya Crimson Queen. All right, so this next one is my Hoya Pubicalyx Splash. And this is a gorgeous plant. I actually found this on Facebook Marketplace, and I picked it up at the university in Boulder. The guy was moving, and I think he was selling a lot of his plants, and this was one of them. And I can tell you that it looked absolutely, well, it didn't look terrible when I picked it up, but it did not look this good when I picked it up. It was all pale and sparse leaves. And then later down the line, I realized exactly why it was pale and had sparse leaves. It was because it was full of mealybugs. And I did manage to get rid of the mealybugs as far as I know. I haven't seen any since. What I did to get rid of the mealybugs was I just pulled it out of its pot. Well, first I just tried like the usual like alcohol and water and soap combination, and I would spray it, and I had to keep repeat spraying it, and it wasn't getting rid of the mealybugs. So I decided to get medieval with it. So I took it outside, pulled it out of its pot, took my spray hose, and I sprayed the heck out of this thing. I mean, it was so full of mealybugs, and I was gonna lose the plant anyway, so I thought, well, why not? Let's just really have at it. So I sprayed it all down, and I sprayed the roots, and I sprayed all the soil off the roots, and I repotted it, and then I did spray it again with my alcohol, water, soap combination, and I'm pretty sure we're mealybug free now, because I did all that like 2 months ago, I think. And before I did that, I would see on all the new growth, there'd be little tiny mealybugs on it. And I'm not getting that anymore. And this thing is so full now. It's just, and look at it, I love how splashy this plant is. It's one of my favorites. So I'm just really happy I was able to cure this plant. It's a cute little pot. And it is one of my favorites. And I realized after I did my houseplant tour video a couple of weeks ago, I totally forgot to include this one in it, because I do still have it isolated just in case. But yeah, so cute. Love it. Hoya Pubicalyx Splash. All right, so I had to go into the other room to grab this one because this one hangs in my kitchen area. So this is my Hoya Shepherdii, and this has grown a ton for me this summer, and it's so cute. The string bean leaves on it, and I highly recommend this one. It's super easy care. I just let it pretty much dry out between waterings, not completely of course, but pretty dry, and it's just a fun hanging plant that I love. That's Hoya Shepherdii. So here's another one I grabbed out of my kitchen, and this is the Hoya Carnosa Compacta. Gorgeous plant. It's just beautiful. And I'm still waiting for this one to give me some blooms because they are just so pretty when they bloom, and I can't wait to see that. So this is the regular non-variegated version. I also have the variegated version, which I'll show you guys. Hoya Carnosa Compacta. All right, so my Hoya Carnosa Compacta Variegata is right over here, right there. That's so weird because I'm pointing like totally the wrong direction, but it kind of looks like I'm pointing at the plant. It's bizarre. I'm gonna go grab it. So this one is in a northwest facing window, and it has grown a ton. I do have two of these. One is in a southeast facing window, and then I have this one. And it's interesting that this one is doing better than the other one, but this is also a much brighter room. So I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. Look how pretty. So this is another very easy care. All these white leaves. It's a pretty one. Hoya Carnosa Compacta Variegata. So I was just about to sit down here and say we're all done, because I thought we were all done. And then I remembered one last one. And this is Hoya Chelsea. And this one sits in a southwest facing window. And it's just doing her thing. Cute round leaves. A round leaf, larger leaf. Actually, these, I think these are kind of medium size, if you ask me, but it's really cute. Hoya Chelsea. All right, so that is everything. I think I probably left something out, but I think that's all of my large leaf Hoyas. And I'm so glad I finally did a highlight of the large leaf, because like I said, my favorite is the small leaf Hoyas. I just love the small leaf Hoyas, and I have mostly small leaf Hoyas, so my large leaves kind of get pushed to the side, but they are beautiful in their own right, and I really should pay more attention to them, or give them more. I pay attention to them, but I should give them more attention here give them more screen time. So, well, I hope you guys enjoyed my large leaf Hoya collection. And I thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to like if you did enjoy this video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love it if you did. I'd love for you to be a part of this little community. And just thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.